Welcome to this lesson on line integrals. Today, we are going to explore how to perform integration, not just along a straight line like the x-axis, but along any curve in the plane. This is a fundamental concept in multivariable calculus with powerful applications in physics. First, let's distinguish this from what you might already know. In single-variable calculus, a regular integral calculates the area under a curve along a straight path. A line integral, however, allows us to integrate a function of two variables, x and y, along a specific curved path. Think of it as summing up values as you walk along a winding trail. To visualize this, imagine a curve on the ground, the xy plane. Above this curve, there is a surface defined by a function z equals f of x, and y the line integral calculates the area of the curtain or fence that connects the curve on the ground to the surface above it. It is the area of this wavy vertical sheet. Here is the notation you will see. We have the integral symbol with a subscript c, which tells us the path we are taking. The function f of x and y represents the height of our curtain at any point. Finally, ds represents a tiny piece of the arc length along the curve. We are essentially multiplying height by width for tiny segments and summing them up. The challenge is that we cannot integrate with respect to arc length directly. We need a common variable. We use parameterization to describe our curve x and y in terms of a single variable. Usually t, this transforms our winding path into a straight interval from time a to time b. Now, we need to convert that tiny arc length, ds, into something involving dt using the Pythagorean theorem and limits. We find that ds is equal to the square root of the derivative of x squared plus the derivative of y squared. All multiplied by dt, this is essentially the magnitude of the velocity vector. Putting it all together, we get our working formula. To evaluate a line integral, we substitute our parameterized functions for x and y into the main function. Then, we replace ds with the square root formula we just derived. Finally, we integrate with respect to t from our start time a to end time b. Let's try a simple example. We want to integrate the function x plus y along the quarter unit circle in the first quadrant. First, we parameterize the circle. We can set x equal to cosine of t and y equal to sine of t, with t running from 0 to pi over 2. Now we calculate ds, since the derivative of sine is cosine and derivative of cosine is negative sine. The sum of their squares is 1. So ds simply becomes dt, substituting x, and y into our integral gives us cosine t plus sine t. Integrating this from 0 to pi over 2 yields a final answer of 2. Why do we do this? Line integrals are incredibly useful. If the function represents linear density, the integral gives the total mass of a wire. It can also represent the lateral surface area of a shape. In physics, a variation of this is used to calculate the work done by a force field moving an object along a path. To wrap up, remember that line integrals sum values along a curve. Geometrically, they represent the area of a curtain under a surface. The key to solving them is to parameterize the curve into a single variable t, convert the arc length element ds, and then evaluate the resulting standard integral.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.